All right, video number 2 in our UpSkalr how-to series. This one is going to go specifically into the dashboard, so the overview and portfolio pages, and we'll walk through all the different cards and different data that's on these screens here. And I'll also show you how to log trades within here as well. So as you move through your trading day, you're journaling, you're doing things like that, but also you're probably going to want to log trades. And I'll walk you through the thesis, kind of the thesis system that we use for logging trades rather than just, dumping in hundreds of executions. Take a little bit different approach with UpSkalr, and so I'll explain that as well. But let's just quickly walk through the dashboard first, and I'll show you what it's made up of and what each of the pieces mean. So just starting at the top, the upper left, this is just very straightforward. If you watched the intro video yesterday that I recorded, this was on day 1. So it's now what, April 7th, and it's day 2 because I created these test accounts yesterday during that first video. So all this one is a quick at a glance, right? How many days have I been trading this account? How many were profitable? How many weren't? How many were no trade days, right? Shows you some growth as well. And the middle one is dependent on the type of account that you chose when you set up your accounts. And you can have multiple account groups, obviously, or accounts. And so this will change based on what's selected over here in the quick selector. All right. So with these Lucid accounts that I configured, I set them up as $50,000 accounts, 5 of them with $2,000 drawdown each. Right. So if you remember from yesterday, we talked about lead and aggregate. If I click on aggregate, it just sums everything up. So, we'll have $10,000 total drawdown across those accounts. And if we had profit or trades or loss in here, you'd see that as well. So this, again, just a quick at a glance. Where am I in relation to my drawdown? How much am I over it? How much am I under it? How much is left? And how much profit is in my account? P&L Calendar, this one's straightforward. It's just gonna be a heat map that shows profit and loss days. Bigger profit, bigger loss are going to be brighter colors depending on the color theme that you've chosen. So I'm using the default template right now, but if you were to switch to different template colors, you'd see different colors in the heat map once trades are out there. All right. So today's trading plan. This is probably the most important area of the entire app from a everyday trading perspective. There's a lot in here, and I'm just going to quickly go to settings because I want you just to see real quick, right? Depending on which account you've picked and how you've set it up, right? So you've got this is still left over from yesterday's crazy example I gave, but let's just put this back to balanced for now. Depending on what you have in here on your risk per trade, your target per trade, your daily goal, and your max daily loss, as well as your drawdown amount for your accounts. That is what determines what ends up on this page in this area that you see. So there's an algorithm that is built into the application, and it's taking several variables and putting them all together in order to come up with a trade plan, a scaling plan for your account. So with the current risk settings that I have with $2,000 drawdown, it's going to do and calculate the risk per trade, the profit target per trade, max daily risk, and today's profit goal every day. And that's going to change based on where you are, as far as profit and loss goes. If you're still within the drawdown trail, so again, $50,000 account, let's just say I'm at 50,000. I'm just starting from scratch. It's going to default every day from a max daily loss or today's profit goal number. It's going to default every day to just the standard percentages that you've put in. It's not going to take into account any profit. So if you had $1,000 profit in here and you were $1,000 still until the drawdown trail stops following you, whether that's intraday or end of day, this is never going to change until you get above drawdown. And I'll show you what that looks like down here in this table here. So this is a full projections list, and it's going to show your profit grow. You're going to see the account grow every day. It's compounding, right? So until the ending balance gets above the drawdown trail, So we're finally above drawdown trail on day 17. If you're just making every day your $120 a day, which again is based on your settings that you chose for these accounts, it's going to take 17 days to get to being above the $2,000 drawdown. Now, once you're above that drawdown, something changes. Now your percentages are applying to your total balance rather than just the $2,000 drawdown value. And the reason for this is because you want to be safe beyond drawdown before you start to actually scale up in contracts. Okay, and again, the contracts will change primarily based on your settings that you've chosen for your accounts. So with that balanced setting that I chose, you're going to see that I stay at one contract for quite a while, right? And then all of a sudden we go to 2 and 3 and 4, and it starts to ramp quicker and quicker. So down on day 17, though, we've gone to 2040. The next day, the profit target is 122.40. And then 129, 137, you can see it start to grow. It doesn't take, but let's just say 20, on average, 20 trading days a month. Let's say we keep this account alive for 60 days. We don't take any withdrawals. We win every day. We're just risking the standard amount that we were targeting. You can see now we're trading NQ instead of MNQ, instead of the micro. We're trading a full contract. We're targeting $1,400 a day, right? Just 60 days. This is more than, this is more than some executives and small and mid-sized companies make every day without going crazy on risk, right? You find somebody who's making $1,400 a day on a salaried job, and it's a pretty wealthy person. Again, depending on where you live, but I mean, this is a really good number. And you can see that in 60 days, your account, each of the accounts is $24,990. If I were to switch over to Aggregate, it's $124,954 for 5 accounts. So I hope you can see the power of just sticking with the plan and letting things scale, right? And so back to the main point here is that these numbers every day are going to be your targets based on what you chose in settings. So I know it seems slow. It seems kind of ludicrous when you see people posting, $50,000 and $100,000 days, but they're either lying or they're really, really good traders who've been doing this for a while, and they have accounts or skills that have scaled beyond what yours may be and mine. I'll just be pretty blunt. I'm not as good as other traders are. I know that, but I do know how to keep accounts alive for a while. I do have my rare days where I will have problems, and I'll hit limits, and it's a problem, and I still am working on that. I'm still improving every day. But if you just stick with it, this will tell you exactly what you need to trade every day. So your target is 60 points of profit with 1 micro. And I know, again, that seems so small, but that's $120. $120 you didn't have yesterday, and times 5 accounts, that's a lot of money. That's pretty good, right? I think that if you were to scale these and continue to grow, you'd find that in just a couple months you're making a lot of money every day. If you're trading like Take Profit Trader, for example, with daily withdrawals, you're able to pull some pretty sizable amounts of money out without risking too much of your available drawdown. All right, so every day you're going to want to come in here, you're going to want to check this, and you're going to want to see, okay, for these accounts, for these Lucid accounts that I've got set up, for example, today I need to make 60 points of profit. Today I'm only going to risk 50 points of profit total. If I hit 50 points or $100 loss, I'm done for the day, and I'll come back tomorrow. 40 points per trade profit target, which means you only need to win roughly 1.5, 2 trades, right? With 2 trades, you're going to round up, but your risk per trade is 20 points or $40. Pretty straightforward, right? When you log trades, I'll come back and do that in a second. This area over here will change, and you'll see some numbers update, and so this is a really critical area of the app for you every day to know exactly what you're doing on your accounts. And I'll just show you one more thing, right? I'm trading some Avyras accounts right now. They actually just started working toward a $200,000 live account, so $40,000 per account, and they currently have $5,000 drawdown. And you can see, just again, if I just follow the plan for these accounts, scroll down here. I'm simply starting with 2 micros, and it doesn't take, again, but just a few weeks, and I'm up to 5,000. To reach my $40,000 target, just trading a very simple amount every day, no major risk, 53 days. So within 3 months, early summer, I'll have my $200,000 live account as long as I stick to the plan. So anyway, that's how this part works. And just quickly through these other areas. So again, this one just kind of shows your next day, so you can get a quick glance at, okay, what am I going to be trying to trade tomorrow? What are my targets? If you have a really, really baller day, right? Let's say you make you were targeting $120. Let's say you make 500. Right, you're going to see down here that you're actually ahead of the plan. It's going to show that to you. Same thing in the growth projection area. It's going to show you how many days you are either ahead or behind the plan. And I've, just for grins, right, I built this to where it's targeting $1 million. Everybody wants to make $1 million, so shows you if you stick with it, how long it would take you to get there. And then you've already seen the full daily projections, right? This is just a way for you to get a quick at a glance of when will I be at a certain amount. Okay, so the next page within the dashboard view is a portfolio view, and really all this was ever designed to be was an area where you could see your profit for the day, the week, the month, what the total P&L is, right? Balances across your different types of accounts. Some people using UpSkalr are trading personal accounts, some funded, some both. So this is an aggregate view of all of the accounts that you have set up, and you can see them all in one spot. Within each of your account groups, or just single accounts, if it's not a group, for example, you can set up different targets. Let's say you want to withdraw a certain amount, and so you can set that up here as well, and it takes that into account in the dashboard view. So that's essentially what this particular page is all about. Just again, an aggregate view. So the last thing that I want to show here is how to log a trade. All right, so we're going to click on log result here. So let's just say you've traded in the morning and or in the afternoon. You've gotten to the point where you have a profitable trade, and you're going to now log a trade. All right, so you've got two paths that you can take when you do that. And if you're trading multiple account groups, there's some options here as well. But the major options that you have are a quick daily entry or a detailed trade logging method as well. And let me just give you some scenarios for this. So maybe you're using UpSkalr primarily for the journaling, right? So you want to log your pre-market, your post-market, kind of thoughts, the trading plan for the day, how you reacted to certain situations. You're just using it mostly for the journaling part. You may want to just do a quick daily entry. This is where you just enter your total P&L for the day, whether wins or losses. Maybe you want to go deeper, and you want to actually log all of your trades. You want to capture the trade thesis for the day. You want to, show your entries and show your exits and things like that, right? You want to go deeper. You want to do some detailed trade logging potentially. So you would take this path. Everything kind of rolls up the same way. You're obviously going to get more stats and analytics if you use the detailed trade logging method, but essentially, it's going to let you track your P&L, and the amount of data that you get out is directly related to the amount of data you put in. So again, whether you choose quick daily entry or detailed trade logging. I'll be honest, most of the time, I'm choosing to use the quick daily entry simply because of I know how I trade for the most part. I use the journaling extensively as well, so I get a lot of feedback from Avyras there, but I most of the time do use the quick daily entry instead of detailed trade logging. But if you're starting out, if you're new and you're really trying to laser focus in on certain plays, right? So maybe you've got some plays defined in strategy and rules, and you're trying to really learn and get better, I would really encourage you to use the detailed trade logging. So I mentioned if you have multiple account groups that you're trading, you have some options. So you saw that I have Lucid and Avyras defined here, right? Brand new, nothing else in here in this set of test accounts. If you click this drop down here, you have the option of choosing them both. Okay, so what this will allow you to do is that, like, for example, if you're using quick daily entry, or if you're trading these accounts all together, or maybe you've just taken a trade, in separate platforms across these groups, and you want to log the detailed trades. If you select them both, when you go into these options here, you have the availability to create the entries across all 10 accounts at one time. Okay, and I'll explain the trade thesis thing in just a bit here as well. But for now, let's just choose Lucid, okay? And I'm going to do the quick daily entry just to give you guys an idea of what it looks like. So here, it's as simple as just entering a profit or a loss. So let's just say I made my $120 target for the day, right? And all of them I made 120 exactly on. No difference between accounts. If I did have some differences between the accounts, maybe there was some slippage, maybe the trade copier got off or whatever, you could click on precision mode and you can enter whatever those numbers were here, right? So again, this is simply to give you the ability to enter different amounts for different accounts. For now, I'm just going to turn that off. I'm going to do 120 per account. I'm going to do the log. And you'll see immediately that the trading plan for today updates. You see your profit, and you've got you've got the ability to see exactly what you put in. You can see it updated down here, right? My actual was 120. My goal was 120. Let's say I want to edit this trade, all right? And I'm just going to say, let's just do a crazy number. Let's say I just had a really unbelievable day. I made $2,000. All right. Now you can see the goal was 120. Actual was 2,000. At this point, because of that really amazing day, I'm 11 days ahead of schedule when it comes to the projections down here. So because I'm now over drawdown, right? Remember my drawdown was $2,000. Now I'm over drawdown, and my target for tomorrow is now $120 rather than what it was, well, actually I'm right at 2,000. So it didn't go up. Sorry, that's a bad example. Let's change this to 3,000. Okay. Now I'm 15 days ahead, and you can see, that the next day, tomorrow, my target is 187 instead of 120, right? Because now it's taking into account the full account balance rather than just the drawdown. The whole point here is to keep your drawdown intact. So that's why this is built this way in this algorithm. So target is 187, then 198, and so on and so forth, and it grows and grows and grows. You can also see on your gross projections, you're 15 days ahead, and it allows you to see exactly how much longer you have. So you were 117 days for the original plan length to get to $1 million. Now you only need 102 days of meeting your targets. You don't have to have banger days, right? You just got to meet your targets for 102 days, and that's how it would work. So let me delete this trade. All right, let's pull that one away. Let's go back into log result, and let's say we want to do detailed trade logging. Now this is where it gets quite a bit more complex and more detailed. So when you click on this, first thing that you're going to get is a pre-trade check modal that pops up. Same thing. If I were to have chosen multiple accounts here, it would show them both in this section. But the idea here is that before you take the trade, let's say you see a setup forming and you're about to jump in, right? The idea here is that you're going to document exactly how you feel, right? Are you confident in this trade? Let's say you're a 9 out of 10. Do you have some stresses going on in your life or no? So you might be super confident in the setup, but let's say you're like, your dog just died, right? Or something terrible has happened and you've got a 10 out of 10 stress level. You're not really super focused, right? Again, there's an algorithm that's built in here, and it's going to tell you that you probably want to pause for a little bit, right? Because your stress is too high. If this trade were to go against you, it's likely you're going to do something stupid. Right? You're going to make some bad decisions. So just from those 3 sliders, you're getting a little bit of feedback that says, you might want to take a break from trading for a little bit and not put this risk on. Let's say as well, maybe your stress level is high because not only did your dog die, but you just lost the previous trade. So now you're revenge trading. Maybe you're overconfident too, right? You had a 9 out of 10. Right? So you're just throwing in biases that you might have here. Right, and then you're going to quickly as well, if you've built rules over here in strategy and rules, if you've applied rules, some of these are going to show here, as well as just some basics, right? Like you've defined your stop loss, or you haven't. You've done your meditation for the day if that's something you do, or you've checked all the news events for the day, right? So you're essentially doing this check before you trade, before you take the trade, to make sure everything's aligned for you to make good decisions, or to avoid trading if there's a chance you're not going to make a good decision. All right, so right now, high risk, use caution. We're going to move forward, right? I'm super stubborn. So let's move forward. And now we're going to actually log the trade. So let's say we've taken it, and we need to go ahead and put in our profit. Again, you've got precision mode here. You can enter your profit for each if you had some slippage or they were, your copier got off or something. But let's just say I'm doing I made $150. It was a long. I traded MNQ. You can pick your times here. Some of these are optional as well. They're not required, but some with the stars are required if you're using the log individual trade methodology. Right, so you would enter, some of these things as well, and it would auto calculate. So let's just say the stop distance was 20 points, right? So the idea would be for this trade, given my risk and profit settings, right, it's going to figure out exactly what my R multiple is here. I don't typically use this, but I know some people do. Market conditions, right? You can pick whether it was trending or choppy or ranging, and the reason why this is important is in the analytics, it's going to show whether you perform best. After you get a sample of trades in, do you perform best in ranging, choppy traffic, choppy trading, or maybe trending markets you perform best in? You're going to start to see some of that information. If you've got a playbook set up, which I hope you do, and you've got your plays very clearly defined, you can choose a playbook setup. Your rules that you've defined, right? You want to be able to pick. You've adhered to all your rules, or maybe you haven't. Maybe you've broken a rule here, right? You want to document that, and then you're going to grade your setup as well. Hopefully, you've built some grading into your plays, and you can pick what it was. Maybe you didn't execute right, and so you want to document that as well. Trade outcome, entry and exit reasoning. These are text areas that you'd want to fill out as well. Again, all this stuff is used to not only help you build a base for the analytics engine to be able to figure out your trades and your style and to tell you, where you need to improve, what you're doing wrong, but Avyras, right, our trade coach, also uses this data. All of it is available to Avyras, and on your daily intel that you get at the end of the market day, it will take all your trades into account, and it's analyzing them, and it's going to give you feedback on how you performed. Okay, so you get the ability to log trades in detail here as well. So you click log trade, boom, it's same thing, pops up in here, and actually, what just happened here? Oh, I logged it on the wrong day. My bad. So I didn't realize I was sitting on day one. Anyway, again, the idea is you log the trade and shows up here. You could then go back in and you can edit this trade. Same thing as you did with the quick daily result. It'll bring up, again, just a summary view. If you really do want to edit the actual trade, you can go back in here and you get a quick summary of everything that you entered previously. Okay, so that's essentially how you log a trade. And there's one more piece. Let me just delete this trade real quick here. So I'm going to blow that one away. There's one more piece here that I want to just show you real quick. So in the log result, let's say you've taken a withdrawal from your prop firms, right? You can adjust your balance here. Or if you're trading with a personal account, you can add or remove funds. And you do that right from here, right? With withdrawal or deposit. If it's a funded account, you don't have the ability to deposit. But if it's a personal account, this field will be open. And again, precision mode, maybe you're taking different amounts out of each account. This is how you adjust your balances, is right through this log result. And that way the withdrawal or the deposit or whatever shows up on the right day. Okay, so that is the dashboard, and I hope this helps you kind of just get a little more familiar with all the different pieces here as you play around with it more. I think it'll make a lot of sense to you, and I hope it really does help you stay focused on your trading and your targets for the day and the amount of risk that you're willing to accept each day as well. All right, so I will be back with the third video shortly. So until then, good luck trading.